All right, welcome to the Talking Doves podcast. They said it wouldn't happen, but here we are, episode 2. School has started. I am Mr. Riley, and I am with Mr. Arthur.
Hello.
That man sounding like your grandmother trying to see if you're still on the phone is Mr. Arthur. We are coming.
Still here.
We are coming to you live at midnight. Not really, but Mr. Arthur thinks so.
Pretty close.
So, who is this? You know who it is. It is your ag teachers. We have just finished our first week of blended learning. We are finished with A and B, and we are all virtual on Friday. So this is coming to you on a beautiful, crisp Friday morning in August. So we have a lot in store for you on this show tonight or tomorrow or tomorrow's night, whenever you are listening to this. So first we have, when is this? This is news of the week. This is things that have happened at school that you might have missed out on. I have a couple of notes here, Mr. Arthur, but I'm going to start with, I know it's not time for quotes yet, but I have a quote for us.
I'm afraid I don't.
It means one of two things depending on how you decipher a dead language. It either means order from chaos or order out of chaos. I think that our first week of school has been exceptional, and I think
Absolutely.
WSHS has been order in the midst of a world of chaos.
All right.
I am going to quote some Latin. It is ordo ab chaos. Do you know what that means, Mr. Arthur?
Mm-hmm.
I think anybody that has been here this week would have to agree.
I think our administration, faculty, staff, and students have done a great job of being as orderly as possible with a new normal.
A new normal. I think I'm okay with a new normal. Later we're going to talk about words I don't like, but I think a new normal is completely okay. We are talking about things that have happened this week. We had, in Ag 3-4, we had some technical difficulties on Wednesday. That was yesterday. We had trouble with Chromebooks and trouble with internet and trouble with the monitor, but you know what? We made it work. And in transitions, I had to come up with phrases that make me cringe. Things like unprecedented times. I'm just going to say it might be the worst. You know, phrases that cringe to me are just words or phrases that just are said way too much. I think during unprecedented time is overused. I think so. You know, it's almost like we're here. This is an unprecedented time. Anything that happens during an unprecedented time is going to be unprecedented.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah.
It's kind of like going to a grocery store and finding it weird that they have food.
So true.
But whatever. You know, we had our first commercial of the year with the Wash Your Hands campaign.
Yes.
It was an all hands on deck situation.
Oh, the irony.
The puns. I love wordplay. It's my favorite rapper. Anyway, so my Ag 3-4 children learned that I will just not shut up. I will talk way too much. I think Mr. Arthur can vouch for that.
I think that's both of us this first week, considering we haven't had students in 5 months.
Agreed. Like, I have 5 months worth of talking. I'm just ready to talk.
Mm-hmm.
It was bad enough when, we had to miss going to live church for, a couple of weeks, couple of months, whatever it was.
Right.
And then, so when I got to see my church kids, it was like, finally. And I could just, almost relieve stress, buildup of pent-up energy. And that's just, magnified times like a trillion right now.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to be back in the classroom and, kind of doing a lot of lecturing this first week. Hopefully we'll move away from that. I know the students are ready, but like you said, it's kind of pent up and it's been dying to come out.
Yeah, I think Ag 1 today was really like, Mr. Riley, could you just move on? And, we did what we could.
That's right. Some content you just have to cover through lecture.
Some you just have to. We went through it as students, and Everybody has to. And then, when you go to teacher school, like me and you both did, you get lectured on not lecturing. And, that's just all part of it.
Yeah.
Do you have anything from your classes that you'd like to pick on for this week?
Well, I think so much happened this first week. Excitement level was high for us. National Stare Week, like you call it, was in full swing. Didn't get a lot of questions from students, but I had one quote from an Ag 2 student that I wanted to share. And I know, like you said, we're not into quotes yet. I think Olivia Files hit it home. Coming back as an Ag 2 student, she's been through Ag 1, she's been through that curriculum, she understands about agriculture. And we were talking about the increasing population on Earth and alternative food sources. And she said, less skyscrapers, more corn. And I think I'm going to get that on a banner and put that in my room. I think that embodies what we do as an FFA organization. That embodies what we do as agriculturists, just to get that message out there of how important farming is and agriculture is. And so, it's the little things that students do that kind of bring you back home to the essential message that you're trying to get out.
And, it's nothing against skyscrapers. They can be a work
nothing
of art. But, we need more corn, for sure.
More corn. Definitely more corn.
What would New York City look like if on the left you have the Empire State Building, on the right you have a beautiful 100 acres? Let me see. I'm looking at my notes and I'm thinking about the things that we did in class. This was written by one of our kind of helpers that we're having in Ag 1. He says that I have an internal crisis every time I read a slide. Which is true. I try.
He was writing about you?
Yes. He's one of our Ag 3-4 students, young Parker Carlino, and he is anxiously awaiting his dual enrollment classes, but in the meantime helping us out on what's Parker AB? I mean, he's A. Yeah. That was yesterday, and we had the meltdown in Ag 3-4 with technology. And so we started keeping minutes, and he kept minutes for me, when we were teaching Ag 1, 5th block. Yeah, there was definitely, at least I would say, a easy 58 that I didn't bash. He says that I bashed every parish and city in the state. I don't think that's true. I can't guarantee it, but I'm pretty sure that if the court reporter would read it back, I didn't bash probably about 58 of them.
I don't recall you bashing a ton of places, and I'm not going to call any places out specifically, but one you were referring to, and you called it the parish that time forgot. I did get quite a chuckle out of that.
I hate saying that I probably said that, but I probably said that. And if I remember where I was talking about, it was probably true.
Yeah, it was definitely true. I do remember where you were talking about, and it was definitely true.
I appreciate your candor, Mr. Arthur, so I don't have to go and edit more.
Yes.
And, I'm looking. It was such a great week. I'm so excited to be back. So many of these experiences, you just miss out when you're not here. I can't stress that enough. And I'm fully support any student that, with their parents or with their guardians, decided to go virtual. I get it. I completely get it. Mm-hmm. But there's just something special about public education. There's something special about Winfield Senior High School, for sure.
I don't think I would have made it through this summer if it would have been for our amazing officer team and getting to see them probably 3 or 4 times throughout the 5 months we were off. I think that really kind of helped. But it's been so great to be back with all of our students at Winfield Senior High School.
I think it might have helped our transition period, with me coming on board, because that team didn't go into COVID being that officer team.
No,
so
they
they have, we have pent up energy. I think they have pent up energy. I think they're ready to go. And the last thing that I feel like I just have to talk about is depending on what part of the parish you're from, it's either a sassometer or a sassometer. On the central part of town, I was thinking sassometer.
Sassometer's definitely right, I think.
But I get Sassometer. I'm down. I'm up for it. But I think that first week together today, everybody was just a little. I'll say it. They were a little sassy.
Oh yeah, finally coming out of their shells on what was their second day of school, and those kids were, we've had them before in class, or you've known them, or they spent the summer with you, so they'd already kind of opened up to us. But to open up as a group for the first time on day two it was welcomed, in my opinion. I really needed that after some, getting blank stares from some freshmen. I almost thought at one point I was going to have to apologize for scaring them, and I didn't intend to scare them. But
yeah, I'm not.
It's great for Ag 2 to be themselves today.
Yes, yes. Almost said absolutely. Oh man, elephant in the room. Me and Mr. Arthur say absolutely way too much.
Absolutely.
Yes. That's the only way you can cap that off. The officer team, the sophomores, they said today that we are scaring the freshmen. Did you hear that?
Yeah. I did hear that.
Think that.
And I'm not sure how that happened. Because, we're doing a really interesting thing where we're team teaching that freshman class. And I don't think I did anything to scare them. I mean, I may have talked 100 miles an hour, and I know you didn't do anything to scare them. Maybe clap a little loud a couple of times when they were dozing off. But it's fifth period. I get it. It's a struggle. But I don't think we did anything to scare them. Didn't intend to, anyway.
Yeah, I didn't think I did. But I kind of get where I could be annoying. I get it.
Well, by fifth period, I think anything can be annoying, but I think if they will just hold on for another week, I think they're really going to enjoy week 2 and what we've got planned for them.
I think they should. All this is so special, I'm, meeting new kids. We are now part of Inside Jokes, Mr. Arthur.
Oh yeah,
I think we are as close to clicking on all cylinders as you can be at the end of week 1.
Right.
And that is not saying in the midst of a pandemic. That's just saying real life, real time. I think we are as close to fully operational as you can say anybody would be at the end of week 1.
I think it's interesting, and we didn't really share this message, I don't think, with the freshmen. We probably should have, and probably can, or we'll share it through this media for sure. This has been a tough summer for me and you. Taking over a program that's so storied and historical, and someone who's very special to us, who built this program, that's now retired, and and watching him step away, but also wanting him to continue to be involved and trying to get that good balance of that versus intruding on his retirement. And then us having to do things in the department that are a little different to fit us, and it's been really difficult. And I think constantly in our minds, we think about that as where the freshmen are coming over, and they're coming into the kingdom that the sons of Winfield built here, and they're expected to carry on the tradition of Winfield Senior High School. So we get it. I mean, it's not something that only the freshmen feel right now. I think it's something that we can relate to them on a special level.
It was something that I didn't realize when I started teaching. And I don't know if you got this because, you stepped into a newly formed two-man department. But when I stepped into a two-man, and it had always been a two-man department, and when I got there, word traveled differently in that district and in that area. It wasn't a close-knit community. It was kind of spread out. It was more of a country deal. And when I took that classroom and I was teaching, and I've never worked so hard as I did that week, and at the end of the first week, one of my freshmen came up and was like, "Mr. Riley, how long have you been here?" I was like, "Well, buddy, I've been here like 3 months. I worked during the summer." And he's like, "Really? I thought you worked here forever." So sometimes, when you come in new and fresh, you forget that those freshmen are coming in new and fresh.
Absolutely. Oh, I said it again. But yeah, you're so right.
Yeah, so you are absolutely correct. And that's something that I'll always remember my first group of freshmen that I saw from freshman year to graduation. And I know that group will be special to you, and they'll be different.
And they are.
And they are. So that'll happen in 23? Is that right?
2023.
Yeah. And so then I'll have my first from here in 24, and that's that group that we are scaring to death right now.
I hope they can see past.
They will. I mean, that's just part of it.
But I don't think so. I just so these guys know, we're very excited about week 2. Read your emails, check your Google Classrooms, because we're going to have a lot of information flowing to you, especially those of you that are virtual. And always, and we'll say this probably until we're blue in the face, if you have a question, email us. We've been fielding questions all week, and that's great. I'm glad y'all are excited about learning, and especially learning agriculture, and we'll just keep answering those questions until the sun goes down.
And on that note, I would like to say, if you send us an email or posted a comment on an assignment, or however you're trying to reach out to us, if we don't reach out to you in what you feel like is a timely manner, blow up our email. Send whatever, please, because
please.
I think I told one of the Ag 2 kids, was that 4th block? What block am I off? 3rd block? 4th block. Fourth. I think I told one of your 4th block kids, I said, I just saw whatever they had commented or whatever they did, because it was the top email I had. It was the last email I had. And so sometimes it's a struggle. Right. And what they don't see is that I get every comment and email from Google Classroom that is going to you, and vice versa.
Right.
So sometimes, I'll see a kid's name and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's Peyton's kid. Or you'll see a kid and you're like, I'm pretty sure that's Ryan's kid, and vice versa.
Right.
So yeah, if you haven't heard back from us, I think I've answered every question. I think I've replied.
I've tried to.
Yeah,
for sure.
I definitely tried. But if I missed you, please just send it again. Or as when this goes live, I should have clear directions for what you're supposed to be doing Friday, and have done by Monday. But if I haven't, or if you're still just wondering, just reach out to us.
And I've gotten several questions by email that say, what are we supposed to be doing today? And if you're confused on directions, please ask me. I will get back to you in a, like Mr. Riley said, in a timely manner. And if we do miss you, please know it's not intentional. Please know
Absolutely.
It's not intentional.
There it is. There's my absolutely.
There it is.
I'm trying to do in my units, because I'm doing week 1. I'm not doing like unit 1 or whatever.
Right.
I'm doing unit 1. I'm sorry. I'm doing week 1, and then I'm trying to list it like Monday assignment, Tuesday assignment, and if there's more than one with it, go Monday assignment 1 or something like that. But even that, I think, is getting confusing, because there's just so much being put out.
There is. I'm going to continue to try to send an email every week out to you guys, those of you that are in my classes. That way you can read, and it should tell you step by step what needs to be done on what day. I sent one out today, and it'll be similar to that format. But if you still are confused, don't just sit there. Please respond with a question or needing clarification. And we will have office hours on Fridays, starting next Friday. So we'll get you those times as soon as they're available to us.
Yeah, that'll probably be another thing under class resources, huh? Probably a good thing.
Right, yeah. I think we're going to try to have similar hours. So if you have Mr. Riley and I, or vice versa, you can kind of do both at the same time.
Boy, Mr. Arthur, I've been hanging out with you. My handwriting is getting atrocious. Just getting.
Uh-oh.
We got to do better. I got to do better. I'm the problem. What is this?
Well, my handwriting can be great, but I think just like anybody else that writes a lot, you just kind of get sloppy where you can read it. And so anything that I'm writing to Mr. Riley, I try to do better, but sometimes it doesn't always.
When you took those notes from that meeting on Wednesday, they were fire, Mr. Arthur. Mm-hmm. They were very legible. Oh,
you could read it?
I didn't second guess anything.
Oh, that's impressive.
It did say that we have a livestock, what does that say? Stonks but I guess that's the real thing.
I have no idea what I was going for, or if you're just making a stonk joke.
Oh, this podcast is stonks. Yeah,
All the above.
So,
I encourage you that maybe just are interested in or you think they may be, just come talk to us. And let us explain to you what the contest is, what it's about, and how much fun it is. Because I'm with Mr. Riley. It's definitely one of my favorites.
It's just something, and I don't remember if I said this in a video or if I just told kids this before. I can't remember. When I was younger especially, I loved knowing things that no one else knew or maybe no one else cared about. And that really resonates with me now because I know a lot of things that people just don't care about. But knowing trees, we live in such a forestry heavy area of the state. A lot of your parents are in the industry. Knowing what trees are is almost like a superpower. Just walking and being able to say, oh, look at that eastern red cedar. Look at that.
That's so true.
It's, if this was the 60s, we'd say it's like the ultimate party trick, But kids don't even,
Flashback.
So, you want to talk real quick about LDEs, Mr. Arthur?
Yeah. So, for those of you who don't know about LDEs, those are our leadership development events. That's more of our speaking contest. Due to COVID, this year they're going to be completely virtual. Now, those are things like parliamentary law, public speaking, Gulf of Mexico speaking, Go Teach Ag contest. We are really looking forward to having a great LDE season, even though it's going to be virtual. These are going to be done through probably a Microsoft Teams or Zoom platform. We have usually what's called district, and so that's us, Grant Parish, and LaSalle Parish. And then we move on to Area 2, which is kind of north central. Is that how you describe it, Mr. Riley?
Yes,
north
sir.
Central Louisiana. Yeah. And then we move on those that once you qualify from each round, you go on to the state LDEs. And, we hate that it's not going to be at LSU this year where we get to take an overnight trip with you guys, but we are still so very excited about that. If you're interested in doing an LDE, contact us ASAP. We're going to start getting the ball rolling on those. For sure, I know P-Law is going to start right after we finish that unit in Ag 1 in September. And then the contest will begin starting around the first week of December.
Yep. And it's such a fun, that's the whole deal is such a fun experience, even though it's all virtual. That might encourage some that may be scared to go.
Right.
It's just,
Mr. Riley said that forestry was his favorite. Parliamentary law is one of my favorite contests because it's something that I think is new to me. I really didn't get into it until I came to teach here. Mr. Steve Vines was kind of the P-Law king. Mr. Riley, I can't remember off the top of my head how many state championships in P-Law. I think it's 11.
I think that's right.
That he won. And so Winfield has a very rich history of doing parliamentary law, and we would love to take two very strong teams all the way to state this year and hopefully bring home that first place state banner. So if you're interested in P-Law, especially you Ag 1 students who will get that over the course of the next month or so, we would love to have you try out for the team. So and I will say this, we practice for Mr. Riley, what is it going to be, about 7 weeks for that? 6-7 weeks? A couple times
over Thanksgiving break and all that. But yeah. The next portion of our show is When Is This? This is our FFA news section of the podcast. So, if I could, I'll just start with forestry, Mr. Arthur. You talk about LDEs.
Okay.
And we'll just hit a couple of the quick bullets after that. So,
sounds good.
Our forestry CDE season is kind of in limbo, but we have more direct guidance as of Wednesday. We are, for those underclassmen that don't know, forestry is our first competition of the season. FFA is very heavy in competition, and this chapter has had a great history in the forestry CDE. It is one of my favorites. If you ask me what is my favorite CDE, I won't pick a spring contest. I'm not going to show favoritism there. But forestry, it's the only thing happening. It's the only show in town. I love forestry so much. That was my first FFA contest. If you had to watch that cringy About Mr. Riley video, I talked about, my relationship with my ag teacher and how I got started in forestry. And it starts this week, really. If you are interested in joining forestry, we're going to be working on how to practice. It's going to be practice after school. We're going to be practicing at school for the foreseeable future. But we learned that competition will be about when it normally is, which is around the 1st of October. We learned that we're trying to go in static groups, and you really don't care about the details. The most important part of forestry is it's happening. Forestry is not dead. And we are looking for members. So if you're interested in trees, if you're interested in being outside, if you're interested in any of those types of things, forestry is happening. It starts next week, really. Okay.
I didn't.
So if you're interested in horse evaluation, reach out to us. It did get moved from fall to spring. It's now going to be like late February, early March. We're still going to do it. It's just a different part of the year now. So hopefully by then, you'll actually get to go and look at live horses and, have a better, more enriching experience with that. But that was another thing, the news that came out on Wednesday.
Even if you don't make the top 8, we still want you to come to practice, because next year we're going to need more students. So come get trained, get involved. Maybe you don't feel comfortable competing this year. We'd still love to have you come to practice and just get that knowledge if you're interested at all.
And I don't say this boastingly because I didn't do any of it. This whole culture that we have currently with that team that had went to nationals are very eager to still be active in the P-Law community.
Right.
It's something special that, I don't know if our conduct of chapter team really saw it happening, and I don't know if they fully understood because, they're freshmen and, may just thought that's how it's supposed to be. And maybe it is how it's supposed to be, but it's not what happens everywhere. This is a special culture. It's a special thing that we have right now with those kids. They want to get back. They want to help.
Right.
They want it to be just as successful as that team that they had, and they want them to be even more successful.
Right. For those of you who don't know what Mr. Riley was referring to, last year our 2018-2019 parliamentary law team went on to National FFA Convention in Indianapolis, Indiana, placed 5th in the nation. And we were very, very proud of them. And they've come back, like you said, and they're helping train the next P-Law team. Last year, our P-Law team received 3rd as an all-freshman team. And so, like I said, we're very excited to take that group back and do some awesome, awesome things.
So we talked to one of y'all about horse evaluation, just kind of transitioning out of LDEs, Mr. Arthur, if that's okay. We talked to one of you about horse evaluation, and I don't know, did you tell her today? Do you have anything else for FFA news, Mr. Arthur?
I don't think so. I did. I guess we can mention the Ag Tech Quiz Bowl that'll be happening every other week starting around in mid-September. For those of you who are interested, I think they're going to break it up by Ag 1, 2s, and 3s. And so we may reach out to a couple of you guys to participate for prizes just for fun. I think that's going to be a great experience and a great way to, I guess, kind of keep your knowledge flowing about that Agri-Tech test you take at the end of Ag 3.
I know when I was a student, if that would have been an opportunity for me, I would have really nerded out on that, and I would have really enjoyed that competition deal. That whole competition climate, just every other week, that's something special. We don't.
I was going to say absolutely, but I'm not going to. But I already
just
did.
Know that whatever we say, unless we give up a fight, we are completely in agreement with each other. Correct.
Correct.
So that, if we are out of news, that takes us to maybe our favorite section, maybe my favorite section. What is this? These are quotes from me and Mr. Arthur. Some of our favorite quotes. How many you want to do tonight, Mr. Arthur?
I have 2.
I kind of wanted to do 3. So I
go for it.
I'll do one. You do one. I'll do one. You do one. I'll finish. That sound good?
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Based on the conversation that we had post officer meeting tonight, I really wanted to go a Star Wars quote. And, you know, I almost feel like I let down the fandom that I didn't have a quote in it last week. I didn't have a Star Wars quote. So I'm going to the one that started it all. Anakin's mother. She said, Shmi Skywalker said, you can't stop the change any more than you can stop the suns from setting.
Well, I'm not a Star Wars fan. That's pretty powerful stuff.
Isn't that great? You know, and if you just look at our current situation, our current climate, change has never been faster than what's happening right now. You know, we wait at the call of the governor right now to kind of outline everything, and everything changes. You know, there was one day where we were in school, the next day we didn't have school for 8 weeks. You know, there was one day where I could go buy my chocolate milk at 10:30 at Walmart, and there's the next day where I better get it before 8:30. You know, change is happening really quick, and you just have to find not really a peace with it, but you have to find how to go with it. You have to find your place in it. And I know I'm kind of doing double speech, but you're not going to change it. You're not going to change. You can be a part of it. You can try to deny it, but it's going to happen. And you just have to work with it. I think the kids that are seeing it right now are going to be more resilient. Like I think that's going to be something that happens out of this. And maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think our kids get enough credit for how resilient they are. You know, it's tough to do what they're doing with school right now, but they're the reason that I keep going.
Absolutely. I think that warrants it. I needed to agree with that, because we're asking so much of them, and we have kids right now. Mr. Arthur and I both have kids emailing us at midnight trying to help with the next day's assignment. And, you know, 2 months ago, I'd been like, kids aren't going to want to do that. Kids aren't going to want to try to do their work in a timely manner if we go online. And here we are in that change. You know, we're doing blended. We're doing, you know, you have a choice. And, you know, it's week 1. It could change. It could get better. It could get worse, whatever. But out of the gate, I never would have thought the positivity would be where it's at. And I'm really happy about that.
Well, that's what I was about to tell you. 2 things. Number 1, in a world full of negatives, our kids are our positive right now. And, if they can continue that and know that we see that, you know, that's not something that's going unnoticed by any means. And we don't take the time to let you know that like we should, because we're just so busy. But know that we see you, and we appreciate the hard work and dedication that you're putting into this, because know that your teachers, believe it or not, are also putting in hard work and dedication.
You know, I think I'm so FFA minded, and, you know, I'm thinking about our officer team right now, but and they're like, you know, we look at them as leaders in our chapter and in our classes. And, you know, I told you about this. I'm talking to one of our officers, and I said, I hope me and Mr. Arthur aren't putting too much on y'all. And they said, we want this. This is what we want to be leaders. We want to push us and our chapter to higher levels. Like, we want this. And when you keep giving responsibility to kids and they keep asking for more, that's special. So that's my first quote, Mr.
All right. Well, I have a quote from one of my favorite authors and poets, Dr. Maya Angelou. I went kind of serious in nature with my quotes this week, and it seems like Mr. Riley so far has as well. And she said, if you're always trying to be normal, you'll never know how amazing you can be. And I think that, in a world it's confusing right now, in a classroom setting that's confusing, it's easy to just go with the flow, to be normal. And but we've been talking about our officer team all afternoon, and I hate to just keep harping, but they're just the kids that we spend a lot of time with, and they're just an excellent group of kids, or students I should say. They each offer something different to our team, and they've stepped out of that normalcy, which is something that I just love and respect. I think that's a beautiful thing for students to find themselves and to be themselves and to bring qualities to the table that would not have been brought if they would just sit back and drive an autopilot. So I didn't have a ton to talk about on that quote, but I think it's just so important for students in this time, in this world that we live in, to know that you are amazing, so be amazing.
Yeah. I think these are lining up really well. My first quote, your quote, and it just has to do with where we're at, and we want kids to know, we want our students to know that we see what's happening, we see how they are behaving and acting in this, and we are appreciative of that. And that goes into my second quote, which is, it's from, and I did a little research while we were talking a while ago. I didn't realize that this was kind of a typo. This was kind of a mistake. This quote was. So really, the author of A Wrinkle in Time can take authorship of this, because it was kind of a mistranslation. And so, did you read A Wrinkle in Time?
Long time ago.
Okay, it's one of my favorite books. It's one of the few novels that I've read more than once. And it kind of makes me want to reread it this weekend. And as slow as a reader I am, it might take 3 weekends, but it's not that big of a deal.
Who wrote that book?
Madeline. I don't know how to say her last name. L'Engle.
Okay.
I'm just straight up. I don't know how to say that, but
I think it was a school reading assignment several years back, and I just don't remember it.
I didn't watch the movie. I heard it was mixed reviews.
That was the newer movie that had like Oprah in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and there was the three ladies that were helping the protagonist, and like one was Mrs. Who, one was like Mrs. What's It, and like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mrs. Who only spoke in quotes. Like, she only would quote people to convey her emotions and thoughts and that kind of thing. And she said to the protagonist when they're going, and I think this is where she's wanting to give up. I think Meg is wanting to give up, and I don't remember the context exactly, but it's somewhere in there. They're getting the rise in action. They're almost to the climax of the book, and Mrs. Who says, "But remember, Euripides, nothing is hopeless. We must hope for everything." And I looked up because I was just going to give Euripides the credit, because I thought it was just a straight up quote. But apparently there was a major translation error in Madeline's source text. And so she kind of created that. So if we're looking at kids and we're looking at students and they're doing great now, I don't want them to lose sight. I want them to stay the course. I want them to remember nothing is hopeless. We must hope for everything. There will be better days through better ways. Or is that a little too spot on? But you see where I'm trying to go with this?
I do, absolutely.
And it's just, don't lose sight. Keep your eye on where you're going. There is a point to all of this, and this is something that from the top down we're trying to stress is that education is still going. We're still educating. There's still a purpose in your education. And, they're starting out strong. I don't want them to lose sight of that. Nothing is hopeless. We must hope for everything. That's
powerful stuff.
I really like it. And the fact that it was a major error is just kind of funny to me. So,
Well, my second quote, my final quote for this session, comes from somebody that I think you guys are going to know who they are. We've been quoting a bunch of people that maybe you didn't have any idea who they are. The one, the only Queen Bee, Beyonce. I may not know a lot of music from the modern era, but I do enjoy Beyonce's music. But she says, be healthy and take care of yourself, but be happy with the beautiful things that make you, you. And, I wish I would have known that quote 10 years ago. I think it's so important. And it's kind of piggybacking off the Maya Angelou quote that I had earlier, that you've got to find things in life that make you happy. You've got to find niches that you fit in with and qualities of yourself that only you could find. And I think what's so beautiful about this quote and the situation that Mr. Riley and I are in as FFA advisors, so many students find their niche here with us. And, that's what we strive for, is that when you guys come in as sparkling-eyed freshmen, you walk in the door and we get to meet you for the first time, that you see something in us, in our program, in our class that you love, that you identify with. And it's part of that beautiful thing that makes you, you. And we want to be part of that. And so, I hope that some of you freshmen that are listening, or maybe some of you upperclassmen who are taking ag for the first time, or you thought, well, maybe this isn't for me, or you're second guessing yourself, think about why you started ag in the first place. For you freshmen, it may be because a parent, a guardian, and an uncle, a brother, or sister told you about this program and said, hey, I think you'll like this. Don't give up until you're sure, because I guarantee if you'll just give us some time, that you'll find part of yourself in our program.
If you go to Texas and you ask an FFA member, what is FFA to you? And they're, well, I show steers, and I have 7 belt buckles that I've won. If I go to Indiana, and I ask an FFA member, what does FFA mean to you? And they're like, well, we do these projects, and we're trying to do hydroponics, and we're trying to see how trouts live, and it means so much to so many different people.
Right.
And I completely agree with that. And me and you have, I'm not trying to flaunt this, but I think me and you have a lot of personality. And I think a lot of kids, we relate to so many different kinds of kids, I think.
Right.
And I think that's one of our greatest strengths, really. Yeah. It's funny how these quotes are I feel like these quotes are really meshing. And it might just be sleep deprivation, Mr. Arthur. That
may be, but anybody listening to this, please know we don't tell each other what we're going to talk about before we get on here. So this is completely coincidental.
This is blind. So I'm going to end this with a Beyonce quote.
Really?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, dang.
It is music. It is a lyric.
Okay.
If y'all by any chance have listened to any of my playlists in class or that it's posted, I have a thing for Christian rap. I really like Christian rap. I'm a big fan. My favorite Christian rapper is Andy Mineo.
I have no idea who that is. All right.
I know. It's fine. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. It doesn't matter. I think you're going to enjoy this because it kind of goes something that me and you, we would do something and we would say, we'd look at the kids or whatever, and we were like, we're making money moves,
Yeah.
And I think it just kind of bookends this whole deal, kind of like that stick with us. We're working hard. We're all in this together. Nothing's hopeless. Be happy. Find your place in this. All that kind of thing that we're hitting on with these.
Mm-hmm.
The lyric is, I got two choices when I do this: make moves or make excuses. My biggest enemy is me, and even I can't stop me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like that, Mr. Arthur?
I do. I like that a lot.
We could sit back. We could not work as hard. We could
get a lot more sleep at night.
Get a lot more sleep at night. I told one of my kids today, I don't remember what class it was, and they looked at me and they're, it looked like they were kind of beleaguered. They were a little tired, and I get it. It's the end of week one. Whatever your week one looked like, everybody's different. And I just thought about my day yesterday, and I told him about it, and his eyes kind of got big. It like woke up at 4:45, and I did this, and this, and not being arrogant or anything, but like we all have things that we all do. We're all some sort of tired, and then I thought about it, and I was like, that was the least I did yesterday. I did less than I did the previous 3 nights,
mm-hmm.
and we could just sit back. We can make excuses. We could go, well, in these trying times, and just kind of kick our feet back and say, what else can we do? But me and Mr. Arthur are all about making money moves.
Oh yeah, that's what we do.
And and we are trying to snowball this into a place where even we can't stop it.
Yeah. That's the goal, right?
That's the goal.
Any good business model looks like that.
Any good business model. One of my favorite preachers, loosely said, my biggest goal as a leader of this church is to make the people under me make me useless.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really the goal for any leader. So that's mine and your goal for sure.
I mean, who would have thought that when Sam Walton created Walmart in Bentonville, Arkansas, it'd be a national chain.
Yeah.
We're going to start right here in Little Winfield, Louisiana. We're going to turn this thing into a nationally renowned program.
And
that's how I feel about it.
Bentonville at the time was like Natchitoches.
Yeah.
It had a land-grant university. And I mean, you're right there at Fayetteville. I mean, it's just... Yeah. It's just nothingness, and then that's the largest retailer in the world.
In the complete world. So,
yeah, I said it. Come at me, Amazon.
That's right. Oh goodness.
So that takes us, Mr. Arthur, to
my favorite segment.
Your favorite segment. Why is this? Who you want to go first?
I want you to go first because I want to end this on a high note.
Okay. Are you going to school me hard?
I think you're going to enjoy today more than you enjoyed last week.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be a little candid. When you said you should get this last one, I'm gonna end on an easy one. I got so scared. I was like, if it's not Kim Mulkey, oh man.
No, this one I think you're going to find that you know more about than you think you do.
Wow. And I'm going to find out there was a little basketball inside of me all along.
That's right. It's been sitting there waiting to bloom.
Well, I will happily start then. I have, I kind of got jealous that you had a game you kind of played a game with it. And so I made a game for you, Mr.
Okay.
Hoffman. Okay, so I'm going to start the same place I did last time. I'm going to give you an artist name, and I want to hear the Wikipedia description of them.
Okay.
I will go ahead and let you know this is an American group.
Okay, great. That helps.
What grade were you in 2004?
Oh, gosh.
That'd been what, third grade?
Second grade.
Second grade. Okay, so when you were in second grade, these guys were starting. Okay, I think if I remember the story correct, they went to college together.
Okay.
Okay. The name of the band is Matt and Kim.
They couldn't come up with anything better than that?
But, I think they got it from, his name is Matt Johnson, and her name is Kim Shafino. So that's probably where they came in, I don't know. Hope. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So what kind of music do you think Matt and Kim make?
I've already got my answer that I'm going to give you.
Okay.
And let me tell you why and how this answer was inspired.
Okay.
I like the oldies. I don't think that's a secret.
Right.
And there's a band from, I don't know, a long time ago, called Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Yeah.
And they sing folk music. So I'm going with folk.
Okay. That's strong. I respect that. I like the trying to do detective work based on prior knowledge. What is that? Making inferences? Is that
making inferences? Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. It's not right, but I like it. I respect it. I'm glad it came from a point of knowledge. It is an indie electronic duo.
You with this indie stuff, man. Whatever.
Matt and Kim it's special to me, Mr. Arthur.
I'm writing them down. I'm going to listen to them later. I didn't like the stuff you played last week. I don't remember what their name was.
The joke last week was I didn't like the music last week.
Oh, I'm glad because it's tragic. And I hope they hear this podcast. It was all full. What was their name?
Kings of Convenience.
Kings of Convenience. They inconvenienced me by making me listen to that mess.
But here's the thing with Matt and Kim. It's upbeat.
Okay.
You could dance to it maybe. It's
is it something I could play before class when the kids are walking in?
Most of it. One of their songs is in my playlist right now, my current rotation that I have posted.
All right.
But I want to read this one line to you.
All right. And
this is from the song that I have in it. There's no.
I didn't know music had lyrics, but I'm listening. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's electronic backed music, whatever. No time for cameras. We'll use our eyes instead. So it's saying don't get caught up taking selfies. Live life.
Yeah.
Live life to the fullest. And I know that's a millennial.
This is a positive message.
It's a positive message. I know you're kind of anti-millennial, even though you are one.
Don't bring that up.
Here's the game, Mr. Arthur. Okay. Their album names kind of sound like theaters. Okay, like movie theaters, stage theaters. They kind of share names. Okay. So I'm going to give you a title, and you're going to say an album or a theater. You understand?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to start with what should be kind of an easy one. Staircase. Is that a Matt and Kim album, or is it a theater?
I hope it's a Matt and Kim album.
You would be incorrect, Mr. Arthur. That is a theater in Ontario, Canada.
Are we talking about like a movie theater or a music theater or what?
I don't remember what that one was.
Because I was thinking like Lee Cinema 6 in Leesville. You know, that's what I was thinking when you said that theater.
No, I said like stage theaters.
Yeah, I heard that when you said theater. We only had one movie theater, so it was Lee Cinema 6.
Think bigger than Leesville, Mr. Arthur. Think bigger.
All right, I'm ready for the next one. I'm going to get this one right.
How many places in Louisiana tonight have said think bigger than Leesville? Do you think they had like a city hall meeting tonight and they were like, you got to think bigger than here? That might be the only time that phrase has ever been uttered.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Okay, the next one. Maybe it's easier. I don't know. It's kind of confusing. I'm going to go. No, I'll skip that one. I'll leave that one for last. That one should be the easiest. I'm going to go grand.
That's a theater.
Well, Mr. Arthur, if you're thinking local, the local one is the Grand. Grand was also it's kind of a trick question.
I'm on the struggle bus, guys.
Matt and Kim's second album was Grand, and really their best album. I'm not trying to throw shade, but that one was really special. But anyway, I'm sorry.
I mean, I like the album name. That's a good album name.
It's a good name. Yeah, I like the simple, like one word album names. All right, The third one. We only have 4. Okay.
Okay.
The third one. Glow lyric. Glow lyric. Like a glow stick and the lyric of a song. Glow lyric.
Is that a theater?
Yes.
Yeah. Whoop whoop.
You know, and I knew how I phrased that, might trip you up or whatever.
I took it as a trick question. That's why I said
it was definitely a trick question. When I found that one, I was like, I have to put that one in. It just had to. Okay, so on a high note, let's see if you can end at 50%.
Okay.
The last one is lightning.
That's Mike and Kim. Is that right? Mike and Kim?
Matt. That's a Matt and Kim album.
Yes. Yeah.
Look at you. Look at you, Mr. Arthur.
I'm sorry, Matt, Mike, whatever your name is. Sorry I got it wrong. I won't remember tomorrow, but I will take a listen to your music.
That's all they can ask for. That's it. All right, Mr. Arthur, that was the game. You got 50%, I won't put it into the campus,
Thanks. Appreciate that. That's about as good as you can ask for from me. So, I have 3 questions.
Oh, goodness.
That revolve around, of course, basketball. Okay. I'm going to give a little backstory before I jump into it. Okay. And so maybe, that'll help you in your trying to answer the question. Okay. Golden Girls, when Sophia told a story, if any of you have ever seen that with your grandparents, she always started off, picture it, Sicily, 1942. So picture it, Springfield College, around 1891.
Okay.
There's a man named Naismith.
Ooh.
He creates the game, what we now know as basketball. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So the first game of basketball was played in December of 1891. The teams had 9 players. They used a soccer ball, and the goal were a pair of peach baskets.
Right.
Come a long way. Thankfully.
Long way. Cut down the peach baskets.
Yeah, please cut down the peach baskets. Fast forward to 1898. Naismith accepts a position coaching at the University of Kansas.
Yep.
Okay. We talked about this the other day. Rock Chalk Jayhawk all the way, right?
Rock Chalk, baby.
Okay. And he accepts this position and he coaches for, I think, 9 seasons, if my memory is right.
Okay.
What was his win percentage as a head coach?
Can I ask a couple of questions?
Absolutely.
How many games a season did they play? Like roughly, just ball. I mean, I'm thinking like 10 a season, or
Yeah, somewhere between 7 and 10,
okay.
7 and 12, somewhere in there.
And I did say rock chalk, but K-State all the way. If I had to pull for a Kansas team, just saying.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about history of basketball here.
Right. You can't. Yeah, for sure. So, win percentage. I do. This is kind of a cheat. We did talk about it. He wasn't as good as you would think.
Mm-hmm.
And it did make him, take his ball and go home. I'm going to say 40%, 400, however you want to word it.
That's very good. It was actually, he won 55 games and lost 60. Ooh. And it was .478.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty good. Now, I looked this up. I did not fact check this. I'm going to look this up later. It said he was the only Kansas coach in history to have a losing record. I don't know if that's the case. I'm going to look that up. But the creator of basketball had a losing record coaching the game that he invented. So I just thought that was pretty interesting.
Isn't that sad?
It is, and you don't know if it's talent or he was overthinking it, or it could be a number of factors.
Or maybe he's not a good communicator. Maybe he's just a bad coach.
That could be it. Definitely could be it. Let's fast forward 75 years.
Oh my gosh.
January 26th, 1975. Two teams faced off for the first nationally televised women's college basketball game. Who were the two teams? I'm going to give you one hint, Mr. Riley.
Okay.
They are not as prevalent of programs as they were at the beginning of women's basketball.
Can I ask this? And I'm not trying to be, well, I am trying to kind of be funny, but this isn't like Lee Wood Women's Preparatory Academy for the Arts.
Okay, so one of them is not a college you're probably not going to know of.
Okay.
But this college won the first 3 women's basketball championships.
Okay.
Now, I talked about, the NCAA basketball championship. Louisiana Tech won the first one.
Right.
But
this is the NAI.
This is the first. First ever. This team won the first 3, and then another one today. The other team is coached by Coach Brenda Freeze, who has won a national championship in recent history. She has a very successful program on the East Coast. So there's a little more hint for you.
Okay.
Go ahead. Do this. The one team was Immaculata.
Okay.
The Mighty Macs, and that was the team that did so well. So give me the other team.
Okay, and this is just going to be my go-to answer when we have these classic women's basketball, and I hate to just beat a dead horse. I'm not a fan of horses, but I don't want to beat a dead one. So, is it Old Dominion?
It's not. It's Maryland.
Maryland,
yeah. And Immaculata destroyed Maryland on the first TV game, 80-48.
That's shameful.
That is very shameful. Very shameful. So here's the last one, and you're going to understand, Mr. Riley, I think, why I'm ending with this.
Okay.
Number one, it should be easy. Okay. But number two, it's kind of the answer's kind of special to me. So, and I think it's going to be special to you once you hear it.
Okay.
All right. Fast forward, 2001.
Okay.
The Final Four is being hosted in Missouri for the first time in NCAA history in St. Louis. The championship game featured 2 teams from Indiana. Notre Dame and Purdue. Now, it was a hard-fought battle. Game comes down to, I think it was, I'm going to have to check my score here real quick, Mr. Riley. I don't want to lie on a podcast here. Came down to 66-66. That's what I thought. I wanted to be sure. Ruth Riley, who played for Notre Dame, was fouled with less than 6 seconds on the clock. A terrible call by the officials.
Mm-hmm.
She goes to the free throw line, knocks them both down to win the ball game. So Notre Dame wins its first national championship.
Yeah.
Who coached the Purdue Boilermakers?
I'm going to set myself up. And if, I'm just wrong, then I'll just edit this out because I'm the ultimate king of edits.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Mr. Arthur, when I was growing up, and I think going down this road, you'll know that I'm going to get this question right.
Mm-hmm.
When I was growing up, and I would see this lady's sweet mama driving around all of Louisiana with a Purdue license plate.
That's right.
Christy Curry, obviously.
Christy Curry.
Bringing as much honor and fame as you can to all of Louisiana. Christy Curry.
Right. And I'm sure that when I tag her in this on Facebook, when we post it tomorrow, she's going to hear the end of it. I'll tell her where to start.
Right.
It was definitely Christy Curry, who is from all of Louisiana. And I'm pretty sure that her mother, Miss Ann, has that license plate hanging above her kitchen cabinets in her house.
Sounds about right.
And Miss Christie, if I get this number wrong, I'm so sorry. I think it was year 2 at Purdue coaching, made it to the national championship game. And just what an incredible inspiration for Louisiana basketball to have a hometown girl do something so spectacular for her community, her parish, but also representing both Louisiana Tech, where she was a grad assistant, and University of Louisiana at Monroe.
Definitely something special, something to be proud of, for sure.
Yeah. And that's where I'm going to end it for this round of, I don't know what you're calling it, but this round.
That ends, why is this?
Why is this?
Why is this? So, if any of you have anything you want, if you need to reach out to us, feel free to do that. This is the part where, on a normal podcast, they would give their Twitter handles and their Instagrams and all that. But if you need to email us,
yep,
I am Riley on the Gmail.
And I am Parther.
So if you need us, please reach out. This is going to be way longer than the first episode.
You've got all the time in the world to listen to it.
And I made that joke in one of my videos. I was like, what? I shouldn't go long? I got all the storage I need.
That's right.
Time is not an issue. So if you need us, reach out. I can't wait to see y'all next week. Or if you're virtual, I hope everything's going well for you. Hope you're staying safe. And if you need anything from us, reach out.
That's right. Continue to stay safe, you guys. Like you said, we'll see some of you next week. And if you're at home, we're always here for you. Stay safe and mask up.
Go Big Red.
Go Big Red.
GBR.